Border Patrol struggling to hire, keep agents, but may never get 5,000 Trump ordered. When U.S. Border Patrol agents called on the patrol's air unit to provide overhead coverage for operations, about 4 out of 5 requests were rejected over 3 recent years. The reason? A lack of pilot, and the staffing crisis at Border Patrol doesn't end with pilots. As President Donald Trump's attention is focused on to keep out unwanted migrants, the Border Patrol's human. The Border Patrol, a component of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, faces a crisis in hiring, training and retaining agents, as well as keeping track of what exactly its 19,555 agents are doing at any given time, according to A. As the Border Patrol struggles to maintain current workforce levels, its greatest challenge will be President Trump's executive order from 2 years ago calling for the hiring of an additional 5,000 agents to seal off the southern border. What should have been a flood of hiring has been, at best, a trickle. In 2018, that shortfall is part of the reason thousands of National Guardsmen and active-duty military troops to the southern border has left agency officials questioning whether the 5,000 agent goal will ever be realized. When Acting Inspector General John Kelly of the Department of Homeland Security appeared before the House Appropriations Committee on Homeland Security on March 6, he voiced similar reservations. Even if the agency succeeds in recruiting and hiring thousands of agents, it wouldn't be able to train them properly, Kelly said. For 2 decades, and over multiple administrations, Border Patrol experienced steady growth. Border Patrol and these. On a visit Wednesday, CBP Commissioner Kevin McAleenan said the record-breaking number of asylum-seeking families has completely overwhelmed his agents' ability to house and process them. The Border Patrol agents hard to keep. The agency has struggled to hire and retain agents for a wide variety of reasons. Their work schedules can change quickly, they're regularly asked to work overtime, and they're required to patrol some of the most treacherous sections of the border. In the past 74 agents, the mental toll can be dire. Agents are forced to live and work in some of the most remote outposts in the country. One example is, such stress might help to explain why over 100 CBP employees have committed suicide over the past 12 years. To address those challenges, Border Patrol has been forced to get creative in its recruiting practices. About 30% of Border Patrol agents are military veterans, so the agency has permanent recruiting offices at Fort Bragg, Camp Lejeune and other bases. They recruit heavily. From 2015 to 2016, the agency nearly tripled its recruiting events around the country, now conducting about 3,000 a year. That includes The agency is expanding outreach with a new branding campaign called Go. Agency officials say their research indicates their jobs are already well known through the border region and among military veterans, but not so in other parts of the country. That's why the campaign The agency has also tried to change its hiring process to get more people through the rigorous application pipeline. Border Patrol 8. So onerous is the process that the Department of Homeland Security Border Patrol must screen 750,000 applicants to hire 5,000 new agents. To cut that down, Customs and Border Protection has instituted a fast. The agency also changed the polygraph exam and convinced Congress in 2016 to waive the exam for some veterans. CBP has but showed the importance of the exam from 2013 to 2016. About 41% of applicants failed the polygraph, and another 26% admitted to behavior that disqualified them, including gossing illegal drugs, molestation, domestic violence and even being an accessory to murder. Despite the hiring challenges, Customs and Border Protection officials insist that they are not hiring questionable agents. The Customs and Border Protection has also come under fire for a $297 million contract it awarded to a government contractor brought in to improve the agency's hiring process. The contract was awarded in November 2017. By October 2, still on the contract in December, meaning Accenture will not receive the full $297 million it could have earned, and its role in directly hiring applicants will be reduced. CBP. Another part of the problem is that Border Patrol hasn't completed a congressionally mandated workforce staffing model to track exactly what its agents are doing each day. Agents use one that leaves Border Patrol senior managers unable. The report cited a 2017 exercise that highlighted how the agency may be underperforming due to its inability to track its agents' duties. For 2 weeks, during that trial, apprehensions of undocumented immigrants rose 2.7%, turn-backs of Mexican nationals to Mexico rose 7.6%, and agents were able to spot 25% more gotaways undocumented immigrants who successfully evaded Border Patrol and entered the USA. That led the Inspector General to continue urging Border Patrol to finish its workforce staffing model so it can better track the agents it has and place them in the best possible positions to seal the border. Of the 16,000 without. This article originally appeared on USA Today.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.